Alright guys, we're back and we're working on the off-leash recall, my favorite thing. And, you know, the biggest portion of your training should be spent working on this, you guys, not working on the stay, you know, and that's the last thing we teach them is to stay in the place and all that, but it just has so much more practical application than a dog sitting and staying. Do videos where we make them sit way down there and come down here, and I would expect you to say, what is the point of that? You know, or make them stay and go out of sight. I mean, there is absolutely no reason to do that with a dog. It's not, you know, any more than you would do that with a child. If you did that with a child, you would get arrested. People do that around here a lot too. They go to bars, go to the store, go to the mall, and leave their kid home alone when the kid's only like a year old. Or they had that father that went in the strip club up there in Daytona and left the kid in the car. Father of the year, that guy. Anyway, so, you know, and this is going to come in handy at the dog park and everything else when you're letting them run around, that you can get them to come back to you. So I don't know if we dare venture down by the pond. Rocky! Good boy! Good boy! Because Miss Thing is going to probably go diving in there. Alright, come on, let's go. Victoria will towel her off, and don't worry, we've been keeping her ears closed out. Rocky! I want this dog to understand when you turn around, I am going to be moving away from you. All through. All right, because that one's disappearing over here, Victoria, I'm going to get him with the nick. Rocky! Rocky! Good boy! Rocky! Good! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! That is always going to be our rule of thumb. If they disappear out of sight, is pop, pop, pop. And you got to really follow them at that point. She just loves it down here. Moving away, you can page them while they're in the water. You know, and you can actually use the nick in the water too. And I've got to tell you, I didn't know this, you guys, and I know everything, yes, everything about electronic collars, but they claim that when they're in the water, if you're using the nick, the water is kind of diffusing it, which would be what the opposite of detractors of the collar would think. That it's kind of, the water kind of diffuses it, so you might have to use it higher than you did. Or, let me get this one. You would have to use it higher than you might normally. Like that little bulldog's getting ready to go in the water too. Oh, it's like for swim therapy. He's doing a pretty good job keeping an eye on it. Double nick. I got him with the nick over here. He started to go, but then he decided to go over there, so I got him with the nick again. You need to be ready to do that. Again, this is a dog with a history, an unknown history because he was a rescue, but since he was in the new home, as far as just busting out the door and running to the hills. All right. Meiska, good girl. Good girl. See how I turned her around right there? With the pager. Rule of thumb with the pager in the water is always hit it again when they hit the shore. Meiska! Oh, she is my good girl. She is my good girl. See how it turned around? Obviously their speed of returning is not going to be as high in the... I'm not going to call him right now because of the angle, but if he goes that way at all, I'm going to do it. Either that or you can do it yourself. I can adjust my angle. All right, come on, let's go this way. Rocky? Good boy. Good boy. Oh, Meiska's a little monkey see, monkey do. She sees the other ones going in there. And don't worry, there's no gators in there. People are always, oh, there's gators in there. Meiska? Good girl. She's my good girl. Saw what happened though, without really even thinking right there. She turned around. Rocky! Rocky! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! I don't think Victoria's getting that because she doesn't have the camera right on it, but what I'm doing is adding that nick, pop, pop, very quick sequence. Rocky! Good boy! Quality of life for them is so much better, you guys. Be off the leash. We started out yesterday with just a pager on this dog, but we're already adding a bunch of nick because these little bulldogs. Oh, I'm sorry, girl. I have it right there, though. You saw me backing up, so I'm trying to. Meiska? Good. Good girl. What she did right there is when she felt it, she went bounce, bounce. That's what we need, you guys. Timing is everything when it comes to the recall. As far as needing them to come, you need them to do it immediately, and that's not a natural behavior for dogs. You've got to install that behavior. They don't just run and suddenly flip around like that. So remember, we're using the pager as the cue to get them. All right, let's go all the way around. But when I'm just walking around out here, you guys, babbling on, I'm keeping my finger on the button of the pager. Meiska! She's loving the treats now. I'm not going to Rocky! Good boy! Atta boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! So I used the praise to get him to follow through. I have a feeling there's... Well, and his name, I will tell you guys, was not Rocky before. We don't know what his name was before. Oh, no, his name was Gotti. That's right. His name was Gotti. But that pretty much sounds good. Oh, there's just one big happy family. Rocky! Good boy! Good! Good boy! Rocky! Good boy! Good boy! No. You guys could not see that, I'm pretty sure, because he was around that bush, but I stopped him right at the gate. So I had my nick set on 80, and I went pop, pop. You guys need to be ready to know whether you need to go pop, pop, or pop, 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 pop. Because you've got to teach them, they've got to have some inkling that, you know, that we want to have an eye on them, that we don't want them disappearing out of sight. All right, guys, have a great weekend. See you.